All right. Ready to get started with the Tuesday night webinar due to the July holiday, July 4th holiday. We're not going to have a Wednesday night webinar, so we're doing it on Tuesday night. So just consider this your weekly Wednesday night webinar. We're very happy to have Tanner Larson and Tim Castleman on tonight. Tanner actually got started in business with a squeegee right out of high school, doing a window cleaning business and starting from scratch. And he actually ended up writing a manual about that and tried to sell that on ClickBank. And Tanner, how did that work out for you?
It didn't work out all that well at first. Kind of bust my bubble in terms of the whole internet riches thing, and then I figured out how to make it sell, and it started selling a little bit after that.
Yeah, but then you got into all kinds of other stuff, and now you're earning a full-time living from your internet marketing endeavors, including a lot of income from Amazon.
Yep, Amazon is a lot of fun money for sure.
And Tim Castleman has been, I've known Tim for a couple of years now. He's sort of the offline marketing guru, but he hooked up with Tanner, and Tanner started teaching Tim some of this Amazon stuff, and now Tim is doing Amazon too. And Tim, is Amazon kick-ass or what?
Yeah, it's awesome. We actually, with some of the stuff that Tanner is going to teach tonight, I was able to get a book number 2 for our category, so I was really excited.
I've learned a lot of stuff from Tanner too. Some of the techniques that I've taught, I learned originally from Tanner, so you guys are going to get a lot out of this webinar. Thanks, guys, for coming on, and I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Tanner since he's already got the presentation screen and ready to go.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, hey, thanks for joining us on this Tuesday night before the 4th of July. For those of you who aren't celebrating the 4th of July because you're in another country or whatever else, you're missing out. We're going to have a lot of fun tomorrow. But anyway, let's get into some cool Amazon stuff. So this webinar is Amazon Publishing, Warp Speed Book Creation, and a bunch of other cool stuff too. That's the real fancy title I came up with all by myself. So what I'm going to show you tonight is the Lazy Writer's How-To Method. This is actually Tim's favorite method that I taught because it has the word lazy in it. And he likes to be lazy, I like to be lazy, but it's a really cool method because for those of you who don't like to write and aren't very good at writing and want to make books and make money the easy way, this is one of the best methods you can use. I'm going to teach you that method in detail. I'm also going to show you the 30-question method, which is a killer way to create books by asking 30 simple questions. And the books just basically get created all by themselves with the 30-question method. It's very powerful, it's very cool, and it's very fast. And then I'm also going to share with you plenty of other cool tidbits, tips, and tangents along the way. I like to talk about things, and then I'll get off on a little subject or a side note or something, and then I'll just kind of start rambling about some other cool stuff, and I'm going to take you guys on those little journeys with me until someone brings me back on track. So I promise to show you all that kind of stuff. Now, why Amazon Publishing? There's a lot of ways I could explain it, but I'm just going to use the big run-on sentence because it works easier and it's kind of cool. So the main reasons why Amazon Publishing is so powerful is you can be a published author, you can build credibility in your niche, you can rake in recurring income, and best of all, doing it this way, you're letting Amazon.com do all the work. They do the selling, the shipping, everything. Anything that's required of the sales process, from sales to fulfillment and everything, it's all done by Amazon. You don't have to do any of it. But the real things are becoming a published author is one of the most powerful things you can do for your career or for your business or niche that you're marketing to. Okay? Once you become a published author, you instantly have that expert status because people associate authors as being experts. Okay? You also get high credibility and a celebrity-like status just because you are an author. Great for establishing yourself as an expert in whatever niche you want. Book sales typically happen over and over and over again. Multiple customers. Amazon sells lots and lots of books. So it generates a recurring income stream for you due to all the book royalties. And if Amazon's doing all the work, that's what makes it so cool, right? So here's how it works. It's very, very complicated, so make sure you guys are taking notes. You write a book. You submit and publish your book using Amazon's in-house publishing company, CreateSpace.com, or KDP.Amazon if you're doing a Kindle. Amazon then lists your book on their website and actively promotes it. Your book sells and Amazon sends you a check or a direct deposit if you're like me and you can't wait once a month. That's the whole crazy, complicated system. Not that bad, right? 4 steps, but there's a lot of steps in between there. My sound sounds robotic. Is this better or worse?
Gerald, you shouldn't tell him that because he is a robot, but now I got to reboot him. Hold on a second.
So what sounds better, here or here?
Yeah, you sound great. Everyone sounds great, great.
I think it sounds great either way.
Yeah,
Okay, I can do a robot voice if you guys want.
Yeah, Gerald, here's what do log out and log back in. Sometimes that'll fix your sound issues.
Yeah, and stop any programs that you're running because probably it's your hard drive that's trying to catch up and it's caching the.
Nancy, I talk too fast. All right, I'll try to talk even faster, just so fast as I can go. Okay. All right. So anyway, Amazon sends you this big old check once a month when your books sell, right? These are the 4 steps that it takes to actually use the Amazon system. However, there's a lot of stuff in between there that is just fluff, okay? I'm going to tell you about that fluff in a minute, but first I want to give you a couple really cool and hard to believe facts about the Amazon publishing model and the book selling industry on Amazon. Amazon sells an average of 33,000 physical books per day, okay? That's 33,000 physical books. These are the ones that you actually hold in your hand. They smell like paper. Nobody uses anymore, right? Amazon also sells an average of 60,000 Kindle books per day. These are just digital books, and they're also just paid books. Amazon has a ton of books that are in the Select program or are given away for free. That doesn't count those. These are just paid books on Kindle. So we're talking about 93,000 books being sold every single day on Amazon, okay? That's an insane number of books, right? Now, the cool thing is CreateSpace, which is Amazon's in-house publishing company for physical books, their average per book royalty payout is $6.30 per copy sold, meaning for every copy of your book sold on Amazon, you're going to earn an average of $6.30. So it could be more, it could be a little less depending on the price of your book, but that's the average. Now, if you know anything about the book publishing industry, you'll know that is an insane royalty payment. Because typically, when you go through a regular publisher, they're taking all of the risk, okay? So they pay you a little bit of a fee, and then you get a royalty of around 25 cents to 50 cents if you're really good per copy of the book sold. That's because the publisher is paying to have the book produced. They're paying for the marketing. They're paying for the graphics. They're paying for the editors. They're paying for all that stuff and the inventory for every book that's sold, right? With CreateSpace and Amazon, they do a print-on-demand system where your book is just in digital form until it's ordered. At the time it's ordered, they print, package, and ship a copy within 24 hours. So there's no inventory, there's no risk, and there's no cost until the order is placed and the money is already in hand. Because of that, there's really no risk to Amazon or CreateSpace. They are able to pay you the lion's share of the profits. They do take a little bit of a marketing fee and the cost to actually produce the book, but the rest of the money is all yours. So that's what makes the self-publishing model very, very profitable, especially when there's 93,000 books being sold every single day. It can add up to a lot of money. Now, on this webinar, here's the fluff stuff. Others may, but I will not. Waste your time teaching you how to do any of this fluff-filled, time-wasting stuff. I'm not going to teach you how to publish your own book on CreateSpace, okay? I'm not going to teach you how to create your ebook on the Kindle desktop publishing platform. Now, why? Because those things are so easy. They're mechanical. They're step-by-step. Amazon and CreateSpace have step-by-step help guides. They have their support desk. And if you go to YouTube, in 3 minutes, you can watch a video start to finish on how to do the mechanical steps of publishing your book on CreateSpace or uploading your ebook to the Kindle platform. I don't need to waste your time on a webinar doing that. I'm going to show you the good stuff, the meat, and we're going to jump right into that. And I also promise not to teach you any other overly simplistic tasks that are taught on webinars to take up time. This is a fluff-free zone, and all we're going to talk about is the good stuff, okay? So here we go. The basic foundation. This is a little bit of a mindset and perception shift that will help you make more money and just wrap your head better around the Amazon publishing market and writing in general, okay? And so what you need to understand is that you are not a book creator, all right? This is very important. This is a mindset thing, okay? You are not a book creator. What you are is a book compiler, okay? Creating is hard, all right? Compiling is much easier. So now, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about here. What would be harder? To write a John Grisham-style novel from scratch, or to write a research paper on human psychology? Now, I can tell you, I don't think the research paper would be very much fun. No one likes writing a research paper, right? But compared to writing a John Grisham-style novel, it'd be a lot easier to write that research paper, right? Because with a research paper, you're not creating anything. All you are going out there and finding information that's already been created and then compiling it into your own words and your own structured form to create the paper. But with a novel, you have to create the plot, the characters, the backstory, the intrigue, all the little tie-ins that go into creating a novel. That's pretty hard stuff, okay? So what you're doing with the how-to books and the books that you're writing and all that, you're compiling information. If you can get your head around this distinction, it'll make your publishing life a whole lot easier, and you won't be so stressed out and thinking things are so hard. It's all about mindset, okay? So now that we got that, let's get into this, the nitty-gritty stuff. How about the Lazy Writer's How-To Method? All right, this is the first book method I'm going to teach you. Now, more than anything, this method is about getting you to think outside the box, okay? Playing tic-tac-toe outside the box. If you play tic-tac-toe this way, guys, you will never lose. This could become a new business for you guys. You could play tic-tac-toe and, like, you know, be a shark and handicap people and, like, give them odds or whatever, and then just cheat and win tic-tac-toe every game you play. But just like this tic-tac-toe game is thinking outside of the box, most writers think inside the box, okay? They think that books have to be long, drawn-out affairs full of pages and pages and pages of text. Now, that's not the case, okay? Because I was able to write a 60-plus page book with less than 500 words of content, 500 words of actual text. 60-plus pages, less than 500 words. How do you think I was able to do that? Okay, go ahead and type it in the box. Tell me what you think. Exactly, you guys got it. Okay, pictures. Picture book, large font. Everybody always says that. I did not use a large font, okay? I used images. I used pictures, okay? So here is the secret sauce of the method with the pictures. First up, you need to find a how-to topic or project that you can teach through pictures, okay? Then you either do the project yourself, outsource it, or partner with someone to do the project, and you take pictures of the entire process. So every step of the process gets at least one picture. You take as many pictures as you need to thoroughly express and explain the project through pictures, okay? Then you optimize the pictures for black and white printing, okay? With CreateSpace and publishing a physical book, you can print in color, but Amazon and the printer and everything else have much higher fees for printing in color, so that cuts into your profit margin. And if you optimize the pictures for black and white printing, they'll be just as clear, and you'll actually make a lot more money. So we like to do it in black and white. Now that means 150 DPI or dots per inch minimum resolution. Also, you may need to adjust the brightness and color contrast to make it so that the pictures don't print too dark. So you may need to light up the pictures. Anita, if you're going to publish the book on Kindle, that's great. You can use color photos. But if you want to make it a physical book as well, you may want to make that book black and white. But if your digital version, you want that to be in color, that's fine. Okay, but remember, not all Kindles can see pictures. Okay, so that's one of the reasons the how-to books with pictures work best as a physical book, and then supplement your income publishing for the Kindle Fire. The resolution would be, the dots per inch is 150 minimum DPI, okay? Then you adjust the color balance to maximize the brightness so that if picture is kind of dark or there's a lot of dark colors in there, you lighten that so that it doesn't wind up too dark when you print them. Okay? Then you want to arrange the photos in order in a text document. In order simply means what picture comes first, what picture comes next, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way down the row, right? Then you start with the first picture and write enough text to explain what the picture is teaching, and then you transition with another sentence into the next step, which happens to be the next picture, okay? So, if you need more than a sentence, go ahead and write more than a sentence. It's okay, all right? Just write enough text to explain what that specific picture is teaching, and then move on to the next picture. Do the same for that picture, and do the same for each individual picture in a row as you go down the list, okay? Then, once you've done all that, you write an introduction, a conclusion, and a list of tools or materials or other pertinent information that needs to be included, okay? Once you've done all that, all you got to do is title the book, convert it to a PDF, and upload it. That's the whole method, okay? These how-to books with pictures and minimal amounts of text sell very, very well, okay? The reason they sell well is people, when they want to do a how-to project, it's easy to learn how-to projects through videos and pictures and things like that, but you're not going to embed a video into a physical book, right? You could do that with digital books, but with a physical book, if you're telling them how to do something and they also have a corresponding image to look at the same time as they're reading what you're telling them to do, they're going to get a lot better results. It's going to be easier for them, and they're going to have higher overall satisfaction. These kind of books sell incredibly well. Although when I told Tim about this method, he's like, oh man, that is not going to sell. Craig, your cover can be in color for sure. Yeah, Tim was like, no, this isn't going to sell all that well. But it really does. I had to show him proof, okay? So here is January 1, 2011 to November 21st, 2011. This one book that I published using this method, I have several, but this one specific book sold 1,052 units for an $8,400 royalty check, okay? That's more than, what is that? That's, 3/4 of a year? So $8,000 from one book doing nothing. Amazon did the entire thing. All I did was write the book, upload it to Amazon, and they took care of the rest. I sold over 1,000 units, right? Doing no extra work. Now, that was just not the entire year, right? So here was year end. So from January 1st, 2011 to December 31st, 2011, sold a total of 1,497 units for a royalty of just under 12 grand, okay? That's from one book. I have lots of books out there, guys. This method is powerful. Now, something to notice here. There was a $3,500 increase from 11/21, November 21st, to December 31st, okay? I sold 445 units in 45 days because I learned a few new tricks about how I could optimize my sales process through Amazon by changing some of the things in my Amazon listing and doing a few little tweaks like that allowed me to sell even more units than I normally would, okay? And in March of this year, this is the most recent screenshot I've taken. I need to go in there and update it, but I sold 373 units in March of this year for $3,000 royalty, okay? Again, this is the same book, all right? This book sells for $16.95, guys, all right? And my royalty on that is around, what is it, $8.75, and the rest of it goes to the Amazon fee and the book creation price, the actual printing, packaging, that part of it. Okay, so 300 units, $3,000, one book, 500 words of text. It took me less than 2 hours to actually assemble and make this book. Yes, Mark, this book is on CreateSpace and it's also on Kindle, but this is from my CreateSpace account that I'm showing you the screenshot. It's a how-to book, correct. So that book works, but here's some simple niche research to help you figure out what niches you want to enter, okay? The reason I'm going to talk about this, because this really wasn't even on the agenda, but people are always asking me, how do I pick a niche? How do I find, or for those of you who like niche, how do I find a niche to market to if you want to sound all snooty? So here's some simple niche research, all right? Survey your potential niche topic. This is the way to do some real down and dirty, real quick research, all right? There's 3 steps to surveying a potential topic. 1, you search the Amazon Marketplace. 2, you Google search the topic. And 3, you use a keyword tool to estimate traffic. So, the Amazon Marketplace. Now, I look at the Amazon Marketplace slightly differently than other people do. No, Brian, I mean snooty. Niche just sounds stupid. Niche sounds better. English language is dumb. It doesn't say things the way it should be pronounced. All right? So I look at Amazon slightly differently. I don't go in there and search all the different categories to find all the things. When I have something I want to look at, I'm going to go to that category. You find products in just for Brian, I'll say it, niche. Okay? And then you look at the best-selling books, sales price, and the review quantities. Okay? Now, what I'm talking about here, you go into a category, you look at the best-selling books. Why? To see what is selling. All right? You're going to see what people are buying and what other books are around. All right? That'll help you look and see if your topic is close to that or if it's too far off or what, kind of give you an idea of what's going to sell. All right? So see what other people are buying and then make a judgment call as to whether your content fits in with those types of books. Okay? And if it's way out there in left field, that's not too bad. It could sell too because it's different. All right? However, the next thing you want to look at is the sales price. Let's say you are doing a Kindle book and you want to sell your Kindle book, but you go into this category and every book in there is free. Well, if everything is free and you want to sell your book, that doesn't really, let's say you want to sell for 99 cents. Free to 99 cents doesn't leave you a whole lot of room for profit when they're going to see your book for sale and they see 20 other books they can get for free. All right? So maybe you want to find a different category to market to because of that point. Now, also, let's say you want to sell a physical book on CreateSpace, and the sales prices of all the books out there are, $4.95 or $5.95 because they're old books that have been out for a while and the market's been depressed on them and they're just being resold. Okay, and it's going to cost you $5 to get your book produced through CreateSpace. Well, there's not room for you to profit there either. So look at the sales price, the average prices of other books in your category will help you determine whether there's room for you to make any profit. And as long as there's room for profit, it's good. But you just want to make sure that you will actually not be outpricing yourself from the category, okay? Then you want to look, the most important thing aside from that is to look at the review quantity. Now, one of the things about Amazon, everybody knows it, is the reviews, right? Okay. They have the 1 to 5 star review, and you buy a product, you can leave a review on it and tell people what you think of it, whether it was good, whether it was great, or anything you want to say, right? Well, for every review that is left on a specific product, whether it's a book or a physical product or anything, there is probably 5, 10, or 20 people that also bought that product and never left a review, or more, okay? Actually, I can tell you it's actually much higher than that because I have lots of books that have sold, thousands and thousands of copies and only have 3 to 4 reviews, okay? They're good reviews, but not many people have actually come back to leave a review. So the more reviews there are, that gives you a better idea of the total sales volume for that category. So you want to look at all the books in the category and add up all the reviews from all the books. The higher that number of reviews gives you an idea of how much volume and activity there is in that category, all right? So the more, the better, right? Okay, next you want to Google search the topic. And this is just, you could skip this step if you wanted to, but I like to see what else is out there, so I do it. Search your topic in the search bar, search for it, and then pay attention to the right side paid ads. Those are the pay-per-click ads. Oops, sorry guys, went too fast. Those are the pay-per-click ads that advertisers are paying per click for that search term, right? See, if people are paying to advertise on Google for it, they're probably making money, or they're at least trying to sell something, okay? You can go out there, check, and see what other things related to your term are being sold. Also look at some of the top websites and see what else is out there, see what's selling, okay? Next, you're going to use the keyword tool to estimate traffic. However, we're going to do it a little bit differently. We're going to look for the keywords with a fair number of searches. So if your niche or your target was, the iPhone niche, you'd see all these different ones. You want to see how many keywords there are with a fair number of searches that are related, not necessarily just specific, but also related to your term. The more searches, the better. The higher the competition, the better it is. We don't care about any of that stuff because we're not SEO optimizing or anything like that. All we're trying to do is see that there are a lot of people looking for this topic. The more, the better. But it doesn't have to have a ton. Okay, I've got one book specifically that, according to the global monthly searches, it's about 100 monthly searches on Google. But that book still sells, I don't know, I think it sells about 20 to 25 copies a month. It's not great, but it still sells, okay? It still makes me money. So if it has no competition, not many searches, and you're really hoping it's going to be a home run, then maybe that's not for you. But if you already have a book written or have a great idea or can produce the book very quickly, and it has some searches still, you can still make money. And hey, even 25 sales, even if it's per month, that's almost a sale a day. So it's still making decent money, and I'm making more than $6 a sale. So hey, I'll take it, right? But if it's going to take you months and months and months to create this book, or weeks and weeks and weeks, and it only gets 100 searches a month, maybe you want to not invest in that niche and go find a different niche that has higher searches. Jason, I just use the broad because I'm just looking for related terms. I don't really worry about the exact search because it shows up there anyway, but I'm not really focused on the exact search. I look at the broad so I can see other things. Don, CreateSpace is Amazon's in-house publishing company. Okay, if you want to publish a physical book self-published through Amazon, you would go to CreateSpace and do it through there, okay? All right, so those are the 3 things that I do. Now, you want to quickly analyze the niche. Don't get hung up on researching the viability of the book. It's not rocket science, all right? Like I said, don't try and make it complicated. It doesn't have to be. Just quickly look at it. If it looks good, great, run with it. If it doesn't look good, scrap it and move on to something else, okay? Now, that's it for the niche research. Now I'm going to tell you something really cool about how to turn one sale into multiple sales. Okay? called creating a niche series. And nobody else talks about this. I don't know why. It's very cool. And here's some facts. Like I said, nobody else talks about this. What this does is it allows you to turn one sale into multiple sales. Amazon research shows that customers spend more on books that are part of a series than they do on standalone books. By grouping your books together as part of a series, you can instantly encourage more sales of your books. Well, let's go ahead and go to the best part. The best part is that human nature plays right into your hands. Why buy one book when you can get the whole set? So a series is like, volume 1, volume 2, volume 3, so forth like that, or all books have the same title that are, they're just continuations of that book, right? So why buy one when you can get the whole set? The fear of missing out or losing out, plays big here, all right? Packaging your books in a series takes advantage of how messed up the human being, our mind is, okay? And I'll give you a perfect example of how totally screwed up we are when it comes to having to have all of something or more of something or being scared of missing out. My wife and I just had our first child. We had a baby girl. She's 4 months old now. Beautiful, awesome. Now, before she was born, right before she was born, I had started having the dad dreams, like the kind of scary dreams, like, oh man, am I going to be able to do this? What about this? What about this? What about this? My mind started going off in a billion different directions, and I just didn't know. I couldn't even sleep. So, pull out my trusty Kindle Fire that Tim bought me for Christmas, and I'm laying there in bed, and I'm looking up these things on Kindle, looking for a book. Well, I happened to find this dad book that basically played right into what I was looking for, okay? And it was $1.99. I'm like, well, heck, I'll buy it right now. I can't sleep anyway. Might as well read it. Maybe it'll put my mind to sleep or put my mind at ease. So I start to buy this book, and then I look below it, and it has a list of other books that all have the exact same name, and they're each little spin-offs of this other book by the same author. Turns out there were 12 different books, okay, by this author, all new dad-to-be books and things you need to know and stuff like that. So I was going to spend $1.99, and 3 minutes later I wound up spending $24 because I had to have all 12 of those books, just because I was terrified of missing out on the information that I never actually read, because I had not read all 12 of those books. I've read plenty of other dad books, but I really only read that one, and then I was like, whatever. I feel like I got it. I'm going to move on to something else. So that's how screwed up the human mind is, okay? And I'm not the only one who does it. Tim is another impulse buyer. He loves to buy things, and he loves Amazon, okay? He's addicted to Amazon. A lot of people are like that. They buy things just because they'd rather have it all, and just in case they decide later down the road they want to read it, even though they probably won't. If they do, great. If not, who cares? You still got the sale, right? That's what makes niche series so awesome. So here's a few tips to help you get the most out of your niche series or put together your first niche series. Use the same author name for all books in the series. You want to make sure they're all together. Use a common theme or title to reinforce that the book is actually part of a series. In-your-face obvious is what you want. You don't want there to be any doubt in anybody's mind that this book is part of several other books and they all go together as a package. Plus, Amazon now will allow you to link your books that are in a series together. You can click one button in your CreateSpace or in your Kindle backend, and you can put them all together. Okay? So what Amazon is really good about doing is saying, here's the book, and you can add to cart here, and right underneath that it'll say, also bought together, or you may also like, and it'll show like a package deal of like 2 or 3 different items together, and a slightly discounted price if you buy them all packaged together. Okay, and you click that, and it adds it all to your cart instantly. Okay. The other thing you can do is showcase your other books that are in your series in the back pages of each book. So, let's say you write your first book, all right, and you have a couple other books that you've written, and you got them ready to be sold too. In the back pages of your first book, they finish reading your book, they like it, they turn to the next page after they finish your book, and right there it shows a little bio or write-up of your other books in your series. So one page is for book 2 of your series, the next page is book 3, the next page is book 4, and they can see that there's a continuation of the story all there, right there for them to see, and you can send them a link to Amazon, or you can give them a link to your website where they can buy it directly from you, and you can make a little bit more money or whatever. But it advertises the other books in your series. It encourages them to go back and buy the other books they didn't buy the first time. one extra little thing. It's not hard to do, and it just makes you that much more money in the long run. Okay, so that was the niche series. Now we're moving on to the 30-question method. Now, got a little disclaimer to make. I didn't invent this method. I pretty much stole it from my buddy Jason Ullman. Jason is a best-selling author, and he used this method to make several $100,000 multiple times over, so I figured, why not try it myself, okay? So, in a nutshell, this is a 30-question interview method, okay? You are creating an interview-style book, okay? Now, this is actually a black and white picture of me interviewing Tim. So, first of all, you want to create a list of 30 questions relating to your topic, okay? I'll get into the details of why in just a second, okay? But you create a list of 30 questions that are relating specifically to the topic of your book. Then you find between 5 and 15 different experts to interview. Then you conduct a phone, Skype, or in-person interview. Record an audio file of each interview, and then have someone transcribe the audio and put it into a text document verbatim. Compile the transcripts into a text document. Each interview becomes its own chapter. Write an introduction and conclusion chapter, and convert to PDF, upload, and profit. Okay, that is the entire method broken down step by step. Okay, it's incredibly powerful. I've got a lot of cool things to show you about it, but first let's go through it kind of one by one and expand on why, right? So why 30 questions? Okay, well, when you start doing interviews, you're really looking for enough content from the person, the expert that you're interviewing, to flesh out your book, right? Well, 30 questions typically results in a 30 to 45 minute, or maybe even a little bit longer interview once the expert has finished answering each question. Sometimes it can be way longer if they go real deep into their questions. Okay, so 30 minute, 45 minute, that usually works into about 15 pages or so of 8.5 by 11 transcripts. Okay, now you're not publishing your book at 8.5 by 11 size, right? So you're actually going to be scaling it down, because most books are 6 by 9 or 5.5 by 8 or something like that. Okay, so you're scaling the 8.5 by 11 page much smaller. So your page count goes up. So for a 15 page, you go out to 25 pages or something like that. Okay, so now you're at 25 pages for just one interview. You do 5 interviews, okay, you got a lot of pages there, right? You're at 225 pages with just the 5 interviews. Now, why 5 to 15 experts? Well, 5 experts, 225 pages roughly, that gives you a good size for a book, right? Now, Michael, I'm going to get into that in just a second, so hang on. Now, the 5 to 15 experts. Okay, 5 is the minimum because that gives you a perfect size for a book, unless you have your experts go really deep or you decide to ask more questions. Why 15? Well, what about creating a niche series? Why not interview 15 experts and make 3 different books, Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3? You ask the same 30 questions, so you're not doing any extra, brain power stuff. You're just asking more experts the same questions. Then you're going to package that into 3 separate books, title them all the same, and now you have an instant niche series. Pretty cool, right? Okay, Skype, in-person phone interview, you record an audio, that's pretty simple. Just record the call, pay someone to transcribe, which means to basically listen to the recording and write down verbatim what was said, all right? And each interview becomes its own chapter. So if you interview 5 people, your book has 5 chapters of content plus an introduction and a conclusion chapter. So we're looking at 7 chapters total, right? It's really all there is to it. Now, here are some live in-person examples, because examples seem to help people, right? Remember my buddy Jason Ullman? Well, here's 2 books that he wrote. Maybe you've heard of them. Conversations with Millionaires, the green one. This book has been out for years now. He wrote it with his buddy Mike Littman. Jason wrote it with his buddy Mike Littman. Jason is a friend of mine. Okay? Pretty cool, right? You guys have heard of this book? Okay, this book has sold tons. Who has this book? I know Tim and James both have it, but who here has this book? Okay, Nancy, have you looked at this book? Have you opened it up? Does the inside look fancy, or is it very, very plain? Super plain, right? Exactly. I want you guys to go to a bookstore if you don't have it, not to buy it, but just go look at it. You can get it for probably $1/4 at a used bookstore, or $3 or $4 on Amazon or whatever for a used copy. Go look at this book, because what it will show you as soon as you open it, you will be not underwhelmed, but you won't really be whelmed at all. You look at it and go, wow, I can do this, because all it is a transcript. The book on the inside is each chapter. You open the chapter and it says, okay, Jason asks this question. Expert says this. Jason says this. Expert says this. Boom, 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 boom. That's the entire book, just transcripts. And yeah, it has a funny font because they use like a typewriter font in it. Okay, they use this, what you'd find in a regular transcript or in a court stenographer's transcript type deal. But it's so plain. All they did was package up the transcripts. You can do the same thing, okay? Now, the new book, Conversation with Female Millionaires, he just released that recently, and it's done exceptionally well too. Another bestseller, and it's continuation of the same theme. So it is a series of books. He's got several other ones, okay? Now, go check these books out. I'm not trying to pimp his books, but I want you guys to see how simple they are to create. When you look at them, the fanciest thing about them is the cover. The rest of it is pretty dang simple. You can do it, okay? So, does it work? Here's a copy of one of Jason's checks from that specific book for $104,000. That was his cut of the first royalties payout, all right? I know it's an old check, whatever, it's from 2002. It has nothing to do with me, but just showing you that it did work. Okay? Now, how about my books, okay? My interview book has sold in January 2012 through February 16th of 2012. It sold 299 units for $2,306 in royalty payouts, okay? Granted, it's only $2,000, not quite 2 months, but hey, that's not bad, right? And this is just an interview book, okay? Nothing fancy. I didn't actually have to write anything. I just asked a couple people some questions, all right? Now, look at this screenshot. It shows you the sales channel, and it shows you a breakdown by Amazon, expanded distribution, and the e-store, okay? This is something else that's really cool about self-publishing on Amazon, all right? You have multiple sales channels through CreateSpace that you can sell your book. Now, Amazon is Amazon website. So Amazon sold 174 units all by just off the website. All right? Now, the expanded distribution, this is a method that allows you to set your book up to basically let other vendors pick up your book. Okay? So expanded distribution in this case came from BarnesandNoble.com. BNN.com, okay? Did not come from Borders because Borders had already closed, but I used to make sales from Borders as well. And other bookstores sell this book. That's what expanded distribution. It allows other books and websites or bookstores and websites to pick up your book and sell it without you having to do anything, okay? And then the e-store is your direct store. If you sell it, basically Amazon creates a page for you to drive traffic to if you want to, where you can get a higher royalty payout because you're doing all the marketing. Okay? The e-store is really cool. All I did was I have a blog on this topic, just a real quick, I think it's 5 pages that I've, paid to have SEO optimized. Okay, royalties are paid out every month, and it's actually you're 2 months out before you get paid from the month that you earn. So if you earn in January, your January's earnings will get paid out 2 months after that. All right? Now, the e-store, like I was saying, I have a blog, and I just have a picture of the book on that blog, on every page of the blog, around the articles and the content that we had ranked, right? When someone clicks on that book, it takes them to my e-store, and I make more money per copy sold because I'm doing the advertising and Amazon's not doing anything. They take the processing fee and they take the creation fee to have the book packaged and shipped and all that, but all the rest of the money is yours, all right? So that's 3 separate sales channels from one book, and I didn't do any extra work to make those come in, okay? There's 3 awesome channels, and Amazon makes that easy for you to do. I highly recommend you take advantage of all of those channels, and I also have this book published as a Kindle book, but that's through the KDP .Amazon website, and that is a separate earnings things. I also make some sales from the Kindle side. So there's one book, 4 different ways for me to get paid from that one book, okay? Actually, there's a couple more, which I'll show you in just a second, but one book, 4 ways, no writing. Pretty cool, right? Now, how I hook the experts. Some of you were asking about that. How I get the experts to actually want to be interviewed and allow me to do it. So with the experts, it's all about what's in it for them, okay? What's in it for the experts. They don't care why you're trying to do it. They want to know why they can do it. Guys, can you guys see my new screen? It shows a picture of the fish hook. Some of you are saying that you can't see it. Okay, cool. Just want to make sure you're all with me. All right, so we're talking about the experts and what's in it for the experts. So here's what I do to get my experts to latch on and allow me to interview them and let me use the interview. First, what I am doing is I am confirming and enhancing their status as experts in their field, and I tell them that. Okay? So what this means, by me interviewing them, I'm putting them up on a pedestal and saying, hey, you're the expert, let me interview you, okay? And the very nature of an interview typically says that, hey, the person being interviewed must be, powerful or knowledgeable or something because they're being interviewed, right? So, and then I'm putting that in a book, and I'm going to publish this book that shows them as an expert, okay? And it's enhancing their status because we're also lumping them in there with other experts so they get their reputation enhanced by being put on a pedestal with all these other experts that are, maybe bigger or lower or whatever, but they're being likened to other experts, which enhances their status. So you're doing this for them. They don't have to do anything to get their expert status enhanced or made to look better, right? Then I also give them a copy of the audio interview. Okay, I just say, hey, here you go. Thanks for letting me do the interview. Here's a copy of the interview. So you can do with what you want. What I usually will do is say, hey, can you please wait to use this interview until after the book has been released? Not that no one's ever had a problem with that. And actually, 90% of the people I've interviewed don't even use the interview. A couple of them will put it on their blog, or they'll give it to a friend or whatever, or to their list. Very, very, very few of them actually use it, though. Okay, so no big deal for you to give it away, but it makes them feel like they're getting something and they're excited about it, right? Then I also give them a paragraph at the end of their interview. So in the book, you interview them. At the very end of their interview, before you go on to the next chapter, there is a little paragraph or a blurb where they can basically pimp themselves out. To learn more about Jane Doe, you can visit my website here, blah, 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 where I talk about this, this, and this. You could also subscribe to my newsletter by going to this site, or by mailing me a check for $1,000 to here, or whatever. They can talk about themselves in that last little paragraph. And that helps them to get the word out more about them as well. And you've already made the money on the book. You've already got the new customer. So it means nothing to allow them to do that. And it actually makes them, be more likely and more engaged to want to do the interview with you and let you publish it, which I've never had anyone turn me down, okay? All right. Then I explain how I'm getting them free publicity and access to a wider audience, okay? Now, how am I doing that? Because I'm publishing the book and I'm going to sell the book, and every single book that I sell is a potential customer and for them, as well as one more person who has heard of them as being an expert. Also, they're getting access to a wider audience, okay? Each one of these experts that you interview has their own normal sphere of influence. They have their own marketing reach where they can get to this certain segment of the marketplace, right? And each one of these people has their own market, but they don't all reach the same amount of people or the same size of people or have the same outreach, right? So by doing these interviews and lumping these experts together on the same book, expert 1 is getting the benefit of expert 2, 3, 4, and 5, just like expert 5 is getting the benefits of experts 4, 3, 2, and 1's outreach. It's a big thing. No expert has ever been like, man, I'm not doing that. It would suck to get more publicity, right? They've never said that, okay? They love it. And it doesn't just, one interview, a half hour or whatever, and they get all these benefits from just answering a few questions of knowledge that is common to them. They don't even have to research it. They just, you send them the questions, and they answer the questions as you ask them on an interview. No big deal, right? So those are the 4 things that I do to get and hook my experts, okay? And yes, I do have them sign a basic, agreement that this is what we're going to do. You're going to interview this, and I'm going to use the book for this, and we both have the rights to this. And yeah, I use a basic agreement. Nothing crazy. Okay? Now, here's some other benefits of using this 30-question method. I told you there were some other sales channels we can get. Well, here you go. Okay? You have an instant digital product, all right? You have just recorded an audio of 5 different experts, right? You have an interview now, and you also have transcripts because you paid to have them transcribed. So you could package these up and sell them as a digital product. If you wanted to sell them separately from like the whole book side of things, you could make a traditional book side of things, right? You also have a physical audiobook version of your book if you want to. Look at all these, gurus out there who have their own books. Most of them also have a audio CD of their book, like T. Harv Eker, The Millionaire Mind, right? I have a millionaire mind, right? That guy. So you read his book, but you can also buy his book on CD. I've got his book on CD, and I've also got it. Actually, I've got 3 versions of the same book. I have the physical book, I've got the audio CD, and I have the download. All right. Why? Because it's just more mediums to consume the same information. CreateSpace will allow you to upload your book and turn it into a CD that will be, and you can upload cover art and everything. They'll package it and sell it just the same way they'll sell your book. So now you have an e-store, you have a physical audio book on CD, you have a physical book, you have a Kindle version of your book, and you have the expanded distribution. So you've got all these different channels all selling your book. And you can also upload your book to Amazon Digital Services where you can sell the download, like that, basically the MP3 version of your audio as well. So you have all these different ways that you can profit from the same product, and you don't have to do any extra work because it's all been handed to you, right? Now, or you could take a different track. You could take the audios and use them as an upsell offer in the back pages of your book. So the person buys your book, right? They read the book, they like it, and the next page, they open the back of the book to the next page, and it says, hey, did you like this book? Would you like to have the audio so you could listen to them, while you're working out or whatever, the audio interviews? Well, go here, give them a website link. They go to your website, they buy the book, or I'm sorry, they buy the audios, and boom, you've just made money from them buying the audios, and you give them a download, and they can put them on their iPod or burn a CD or whatever. Okay? Now, or you could use it as a lead generation offer. All right? What you could do there, same kind of deal. They go to the back page of your book, they see this thing that says, hey, how would you like to get the audios to these awesome interviews? Okay, go here, they go to your website, and then you have a squeeze page where it says, hey, give me your email address, and I'll send these audios straight to you. Okay? Boom, you got a lead generation. You got their email address. Now you can continue to market to them. Okay? Powerful, powerful method, right? Okay, lead generation is huge. This is what I typically do, is the lead generation, but I'll also do the audiobook version, and I'll do the download just because why not? The more channels out there you have that you can sell your stuff through, especially when it's the same stuff, you don't have to do any extra work, and it just makes more money for you, makes sense, right? So this is all pretty cool, right? Now, guys, I see a lot of questions coming in. I know this gets your brains flowing. You got all kinds of things. I'll cover a lot more of these questions at the end. I can't catch up with them all right this second. But now, you guys got the goods, all right? I just showed you 2 completely different and proven methods for quickly creating books that you can sell on Amazon, all right? Plus some really cool and actionable ways that you can increase your products or profits immediately, right? I showed you a whole bunch of little ways that you can make more money from the same information like that, right? Instantly. And there is nothing to stop you from becoming a high income producing Amazon publisher except one thing. It's kind of a big thing. A lack of action, all right? So many people will watch this thing and go, I can do that, but they'll never get out there and do it, right? Here's my proverbial kick in the butt. Get out there and take some action, guys. I want you to become income-producing authors. I want you to have your own audio file of your interview book. I want you to do it all, okay? Get out there and take some action. Now, there are some problems with what I've talked to you about today, specifically self-published books, which is what this whole method and the Kindle side of things, the CreateSpace, the physical book, they're all self-published books, and there are some problems with that. The problem is they look like self-published books. All right, now here's what I mean. If you were to hold up a book that you find in a bookstore and then compare it to your typical self-published book, you could, at a glance, tell which book was professional and which book was homemade. Upon seeing the difference, most consumers will instantly discard the self-published book in favor of the more professional one. And there goes your chance for both credibility and profit. Okay, now, Physical books are one thing. Physical books, if they don't look right, it's very easy to see. Kindle books, you don't really see until you download it, right? However, have you ever tried to read a messed up Kindle book? It is awful. And one thing that Amazon has always been good at is making it easy for the customer to get a refund. Kindle, it's even easier. You click one button and you have an instant refund. Anytime within the first 7 days, you can get an instant refund just by one click, all right? With any other book from Amazon, they even give you the return address label when you buy the book, so you can slap it on the package and send it right back. Boom, you just got a refund. You got another refund. And the more, if your books look self-published, look homemade, and don't look professional, and someone buys it and is not happy, you can bet your butt they're going to leave a review that just badmouths your books and tells people to stay away from it. And you could hurt your chances of sales before your book even takes off. So it's very important that your book does not look self-published, and that's very tricky. So I won't say hard, but it is very tricky to do. Now, this is the difference between success and failure for most Amazon publishers. Many of them never figure it out and are baffled at why they are getting as many refunds as they are sales, or why their book isn't selling at all. Hey, there's a whole other side of this that has to do with optimizing your Amazon page and making sure that your book actually shows up in the top of the Amazon search results. It's not exactly SEO, but there are some things you need to know. Because if you don't do it right, your book may show up on page 20 or 25 of the Amazon search results. And that is not what you want. Amazon is the largest buyer search engine in the world. People go to Amazon for one thing, to buy. And if your book does not show up in at least the first 2 pages, if not the first page, James teaches this in his Kindle Triangulation, some of his other Kindle stuff, your book's not going to sell, okay? It needs to show up in the top so that those buyers who are searching for your topic can buy it then, okay? Now, in just a moment, I'm going to show you how to ensure that you'll never become one of those unsuccessful marketers. There's my little subliminal picture of where I'm wiping out the failure and showing you and leading you to success, right? I just think the picture's cool. But anyway, I will show you how you'll never have to worry about being one of those kinds of marketers, because you don't want to be that. You want to make sure your book sells. You want your book to make money. All of your books need to make money. Okay, some more problems that you may not have thought about. Not knowing how to structure Amazon publishing as a profitable and scalable business model rather than just a series of one-off products. If you're going to make Amazon or Kindle into a real income that takes care of your family and everything like that, you need to make it into a business. It needs to be a business, not just like, oh, I wrote this book, I wrote that book. It's just all haphazard and scattered. You need to make sure you can scale it and structure it properly so that it builds on itself and is as profitable as possible. Okay, you need a profitable business, not just a random scattered business. Okay. Also, struggling to get Amazon to pay attention to your books and ensure that you make steady sales. I was just mentioning that, where if your book is not set up right, things will not work. Okay, your book will not show up. People will not buy it. They'll never find it. You won't make any money. That is a killer for so many publishers that fail before they ever really get started because they get that one book out there and they just can't figure out why their book won't show up and why they're not making any money. And then knowing when you are making a mistake that will cost you both time and money, and what you need to do to ensure your income keeps growing. You don't want your income to peter out and like start dying, right? That's not gonna. You don't want that to happen. You want your income to grow, and you want your book sales to stay steady, if not go up all the time. All right. There are tactics and strategies and methods that you need to know how to do in order to make that happen. All right. But fear not, right? Okay? Because I'm going to give you the keys to the kingdom, figuratively, of course, and give you my proven roadmap to success with Amazon publishing. Last year, Amazon paid me almost $37,000 in book royalties. And this year, I'm on track to blow that number away. And best of all, it's hands-free passive income. Okay? Guys, $37,000, I mean, that's a lot of money, but it's not like crazy, money, right? But the thing you guys need to understand, this is not my main business. Amazon is a sideline deal for me. I just do this on the side. Tim and I run a full-time internet marketing business where we do offline marketing, we do product, we do all kinds of crazy stuff. That is my main business that I work every single day. This is just fun money, all right? Total fun money. So $37,000 for letting Amazon do all the work and they just send me a direct deposit every month, that's pretty cool, right? I mean, that's a pretty nice car I could just buy just with Amazon money and never have to worry about paying for it, right? And this year, I'm going to make quite a bit more than that without doing anything else besides continuing my system. And now I'm going to give you access to my proven blueprint through my Amazon Publishing Formula special offer. Now, this is important. I don't make offers like this one very often. I'm literally giving away the farm with this special offer, and for that reason, it will only be available for a few days at most. So please give this your utmost attention as I show you everything you will be receiving. First up, you're going to get Amazon Publishing Formula. This is the core manual of the APF system, and it's jam-packed with everything you need to know about how to publish books for profit on Amazon, including tools and usage, all the free tools, nothing paid, that you need to publish books the same way I do for maximal results. How to very, very in-depth topic selection, much more in-depth than I showed you on the webinar tonight. I show you a lot of other ways to come up with what you need to write about and what's going to work. Formatting, how to make sure your book does not look self-published. Writing and layouts goes along with that. Graphics, how to create an e-cover or a book jacket in the professional term that actually grabs attention and generates a sale based on the jacket, because with a book being sold on Amazon, you have several different ways to inspire the sale, basically. One of those, and the most critical one, is what attracts the eyeball first, and that is your book jacket. That's very important to get that right. Publishing specifics for different platforms, different channels, all that kind of stuff. Pricing, cost, and profit. This is huge, okay? There's a massive chapter on that, how to maximize your profits, figuring out your cost, profits, and how to structure your business around that to make sure you make as much money as possible. Sales and promotion, how to optimize your stuff for sales and your listings and all that, make sure you show up in the search engines. And then some advanced strategies and methods that will help you take your business and grow it and maximize your profits all the way around, as well as minimize the headaches that you're going to find through this business. And all of that literally is just the tip of the iceberg. This is a huge manual, and there are lots more stuff in there, but these are the keys that are covered in this first part of this package. You're also going to get module number 1, which is the credibility publishing module. In this module, I'm going to show you how to leverage each book you publish for maximum prestige and credibility. This component has been created for those who want to publish books for the purpose of establishing credibility and expert status in your niche. This module is a course in itself and is usually sold as a standalone product on the back end. If you want to become an expert or be framed as, the celebrity in your niche, this will help you do that with every book that you publish, okay? Module 2 is the Profitable Book Empire. This module will show you the step-by-step format, exactly how to scale your business into a full-fledged passive income-producing empire. Inside, you'll find my tested and proven blueprints for building a headache-free, profitable publishing business that will grow as large as you want it to. No hype, no half-proven theories, just pure, from-the-trenches, proven strategies and information that I have used and I still use to grow my own business. Module 3 is the Kindle experience. This module will teach you everything you ever wanted to know and a little bit more about the Kindle publishing model, including Kindle formatting. This is a pain-in-the-butt area that gets a lot of people. Now inside, you're going to learn my exact systems for profiting from Kindle ebooks and how I set my books up for maximum exposure and earnings. You will also get an inside look at how another guy earns $3,000 per month. He's a buddy of mine, selling nothing but 99-cent ebooks. And it's completely on autopilot. It's different. It's not the way I do it, but it can work. It works, actually, it works very well. I just haven't done it. I use a different system. But you can marry this system with my system and with what else I teach with the CreateSpace stuff and the expand distribution to make a very powerful system. And I include it because it's a fresh look and it's something else that you could do in addition to everything else. You're also going to get the Book Royalty and Profit Calculator. This calculator comes in the form of a plug-and-play spreadsheet and allows you to quickly enter your book's details into the spreadsheet, and it will calculate your costs, earnings, break-even, extend distribution data, and all the critical numbers you must have to make sure your book is going to work in the marketplace. Okay, it will even tell you how many books you would need to sell before upgrading to the optional Pro plan. Now, I use this tool to help me estimate my book's list price and ensure my profits are acceptable. I use this tool all the time. And I play with it to adjust numbers and change my book prices here and there to make sure things are going to work and I can tweak sales and things like that using this calculator. You're also going to get 3 detailed training videos. Now, I've included 3 videos that cover what I feel are the most complicated and crucial elements in making your book as professional as possible. You get to look over my shoulder and see exactly how I do each step to ensure your learning curve is as short as possible. Now you're also going to get my pre-formatted template collection. Formatting your book can be a pain. So I've included the 13 pre-formatted book templates in all the trim sizes, that means book size, that Amazon's publishing company CreateSpace uses. There are 9 industry standard trim sizes used across the entire industry. Those are included in addition to the other sizes that Amazon makes available to you. You're also going to get 3 pre-formatted Kindle templates to help you quickly publish and format your Kindle books. All you got to do is plug in your information, make a few quick edits, and you're in business. And of course, it's 100% guaranteed. You have 30 days to decide if Amazon Publishing Formula is right for you. I'm taking all the risk. The simple fact is that I value relationships much more than I need a few dollars. And if for some crazy reason you decide that APF isn't for you, simply send us an email within 30 days of purchase and I'll immediately refund every penny you spend with me today. Okay? We have a full-time staff. You can get us at timandtanner@gmail.com. We will take care of you. Now, on this webinar and this webinar only, you can get our over-the-top bonus, the Ultimate PLR Book Library. 385 PLR books with all source documents in a ton of different niches. Or niches for Brian, because I'm sure Brian's still here and wincing as I say that word. Now, why am I giving you PLR? I'm not a big believer in using PLR, and you actually can no longer take PLR books and upload them straight to Amazon. That day has passed. Amazon is cracking down and closing down anybody who tries to publish PLR books on Amazon. Okay, they're not happy with that. They don't want that crap on there. But what private label rights products are, they are a wealth of starting information and base material that you can use to create your own unique book. This is how I start most of my research for my books. I find a topic that I'm interested in, and then I go look and I find a PLR book on it. I weed out all the crap, throw away all the crap, only keep the good stuff. And then I use that as a foundation to build my new book, okay? But by the time I'm done with it, you could never tell that it had ever been private label rights, okay? So you have a gem, 385 different books that you can use as starting material or idea generation or topic selection. Go through there and just look at what people have written on. If they've written a PLR book on it, you can bet there's a market for it. So you go in there and you look at it, you might come up with the crazy ideas that you can write about, all right? So we're giving you this huge package. It's actually going to take you a while to download it because it's quite big, but you get that at timandtanner.com/Amazon on this webinar call only. So let's recap real quick because I know I just covered a lot and I talk really fast. You will receive the Amazon Publishing Formula Core Manual, $97 value. The Credibility Publishing Module, $37. The Profitable Book Empire, $37. The Kindle Experience Module, $37. The Book Royalty Calculator, $17. The APF Training Videos, $27. The Pre-Formatted Book Templates, $27. And the webinar only over-the-top bonus for $47. Total real-world value here is $326. However, not going to pay that, of course. It's a webinar, right? A special offer and all that. Today, you can get it for $97 at timandtanner.com/Amazon. Tim has put that in the chat box for you guys. You can grab it there and get all this stuff before we pull this offer. Now, does this work? People are always asking, does this work? Oh, man, how am I going to know? Well, here's some testimonials, just some highlights. Nothing is left out. After reading APF, I can see light at the end of the tunnel. Tanner really delivers. Oh, here's another page. Simply a great course and well worth the investment. I have not often found this much detail in a guide like this. Awesome product. I wish I would have known about this before releasing my own physical book. Here's some more. Tanner has put a lot of thought into this. It's a great investment. This is the final authority on Amazon Publishing, and I highly recommend this product. This product really shines. Oh, here's some more. One of the best products I've ever bought. I have never seen its equal. Go for it. Okay? People think it works. People love it. I have tons of testimonials. I could go on and on with more testimonials, but you get the idea. All right? So, with that said, if you've got questions, I've got answers. I know I covered a lot, and you guys aren't going to want to ask some questions. That's fine. I'm here to answer as many of them as you guys can throw at me. Now, timandtanner.com/Amazon for those of you who want to get in. Now, I'm going to grab a drink while Tim gathers up some questions.
Yeah, absolutely. Be more than happy to do that. If you guys have questions for Tanner, please feel free to put them in the question and answer chat box. I will be looking for them, and we will go from there. Mike, no? Tony,
Nice
yes.
try though, Mike.
Yeah. Yes, Tony, there is a recording, and we will get that to you just as quickly as possible. Probably going to be in the morning, to be honest with you. The TK asked a great question. We get this all the time, so let's knock this out. Tanner, do you publish books under your own name or your pen name? And actually, TK, I'm going to answer this so Tanner can rest for a second. What we recommend that you do is if you want to be known under your name, in that niche, use your name. For instance, if you want to be known in information publishing, then Tanner would use his name on an information publishing book. But let's say, for instance, you have one on, I don't know, cookbooks or how-to guides or things like that, but you don't want people to associate your name with that. I'll tell you a real-world example. We actually had a lady purchase this course, and she likes to write fiction. The adult fiction. So she has a very conservative day job as a vice president at a bank. Well, for her, obviously, it wouldn't make sense for her to use her real name, so she uses a pen name. Yes, you can legally do that with Amazon. No, you don't need a separate account. You can just simply, when you put in and you upload your book, it'll ask you author's name, and you can put whatever you want there. So just understand that's very easy to do. Let's see. In your book materials, do you include a sample contract on what you use with people that you interview? That's a good question, TK. I'm not sure if Tanner does. I will tell you that whenever I've interviewed people, right, we just tell them, hey, I send them an email, guys. That's what it is, okay? I'm going to interview you. We're both going to have full rights to the interview. That's it. I've never had to fill out a legal contract in any form or fashion, and that's whether I'm doing professional interviews for guys like David Fry or things like that. So I've never had to use any type of legal contract. If you're worried about that, I'm sure you guys could draft up a letter of agreement very easily. Hi, Frank. How are you?
Just to be clear, I do not include one because I don't offer legal advice. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not going to use a contract that I use, and then if it doesn't work for you or it does or whatever, it's just a gray area I'm not getting into. However, I'll tell you what I do use is just a simple agreement contract that I actually got from LegalZoom. Just a general agreement. It's actually just basic. All I do is type in exactly what we're going to do into the actual area where it says add your own details, and then bam, we both sign it. But I only use that if the person asks for it, because typically they don't care. They're happy to do it because you're doing stuff for them as well.
Yeah, TK is like, I'm practicing law. So yeah, if you're studying law, write your own contract. It'll be good. It'll definitely be good for you. Let's see here. Tom asked a question about multiple pen names under the same Amazon account. Yes, Tom, you can. Simply when you upload your book to CreateSpace or KDP or whatever you're using, it will ask you for the author's name. That's where you put it in there.
Okay, I saw a question from Jason I'm going to go ahead and answer real quick. Jason wants to know if I only let Amazon do all the marketing or if I also do what I can to help the book sell. Now, Jason, for the longest time, I just let Amazon do everything, and then I realized I was being kind of lazy. So I stepped that up, specifically this year, a lot to start doing, actually, I shouldn't say a lot, but I do more to help Amazon sell more of my books. I don't typically do anything crazy like, building an email list or anything like that to try to sell my book. I have some real cool little methods that I use to help Amazon sell a ton more of my books. And I do teach that in the course. It's very simple, but for the longest time I didn't. But now I actually do, because why not? It's more money in my pocket. It doesn't make that much more work for me, so I'm all about it.
Yeah, for sure. Again, guys, if you have questions, please feel free to put them on there. I'd be more than happy to get them taken care of. Oh, TK says, I took a look at the Millionaire book you mentioned, and you're not kidding. Very basic book. Nothing fancy, but nice to have the full transcripts there. Let's see there. Is it cut? Is it can't?
Mike, we just went over what's all included, but I can go back to that screen and show you again. You can see what's included right here.
Let's see here. I'm trying to find, is it Conti, I hope? When you publish a Kindle book, why does the book not show up on search for author or title? Conti, I've never had that problem. I've always been able to find it by author or title. So if you're not, you might want to check and make sure that you've put the information in the correct fields. That might be an issue, but I've never had that issue.
Yeah, I never have either. All my books show up just fine. You must have set some. Yeah, TK has a good point. If you haven't actually published it, if it's in draft mode, it will not show up. Clara said, do I use KDP Select? Absolutely, Clara. Some people are frown on it. They're like, well, that gives your book away for free. Yeah, it does, but only to the people who are Prime members, Amazon Prime members. They can get your book for free. And then when they do that, Amazon has this select fund, that all the money that they collect every month from the Prime members, and a percentage of that gets paid back to you. So you may make, like, let's say you have a Kindle book that you sell for $3 or something, okay? But you set it up in Select, and you give it, someone gets it for free. When the KDP Select fund comes out and they divide that into shares for everybody who's enrolled in the Select program, you may wind up making $5 for that one person who got your book for free. So the Select program is awesome. I use it on every one of my titles, and I think it's a great thing. Some people don't like it, but I like it.
Yeah.
Frank, I'm not sure what your question is. Ebook difference, what is it? That makes no sense to me.
Edgar has a good question. Can I apply the course for languages other than English, and will Amazon permit different languages or same versions of the same title?
Yeah, they will, and they actually just launched Amazon. Is it UK or Amazon? They just launched a European Amazon. Just launched it the other day, and yes, you can write in different languages. Amazon will sell in different languages for you. You can have multiple copies of the book in different languages. That's a great way to repurpose your content multiple times and make more money from it. Nancy, the KDP money is distributed monthly the following month.
I see, Frank. Transcripts or ebook, what's the difference? Frank, what Tanner's saying is this. You interview me, okay? So we have an audio file of that. Then you get that same interview transcribed. Now you've got a written version of it. You can do a Kindle version of it, so that would be an electronic book, or you could do a print edition where it's just the transcripts formatted for the page. So it's your choice. You can do it either way, but the transcripts come from the original audio interview. Awesome, Stuart. Glad to have you on board. We're looking through here, making sure that we answer any questions. Sorry, guys, they're going by pretty fast. If we've missed yours, feel free to put it back in there.
Tom wants to know if we're doing anything on iBook and Apple. Not very much right now, Tom. I've been dabbling in it, but the reason I'm kind of staying away from it is Amazon's getting very proprietary in the way they want their books for the iPad and stuff. And they have this new thing with their author program that if you publish your book on the iPad, it can't be sold anywhere else as a self-published book. It's basically EPUB format only. And it's new with their new author program. They're still working out the details on how they're going to work that because other people have books already listed that are on the marketplace. So I'm just kind of waiting to see how that's going to work out. But I don't want to neglect an entire side of the market that makes me more money than Apple does if they're going to limit me from selling anywhere else. So we'll have updates on that as I learn more about it. But right now I don't use much of the EPUB format, which is the iBooks.
Yeah. Jason asked this question, what is the average price you pay to have an ebook creation outsourced? Jason, I've paid as much as $200, but I know that you can get them done for anywhere from like an $80 to $100. And again, it's going to depend on what type of book. Is it going to be a picture book? That's obviously probably something that's not going to cost you as much as, say, a 10,000-word manuscript.
Guys, for those of you who say you came in late, we're going to be sending out the webinar replay later, so it'll probably be tomorrow or so, but you will get it.
Yeah, for sure. Sandy says, do you list ghostwriters or virtual assistants as co-writers? Sandy, no. I have not. Whenever I hire someone to write a book for me, it's understood that we will be the author and publisher. Now, if Tanner and I were to write a book together, right, then yes, we would obviously co-list each other. And there are some ghostwriters at the super high professional level that's part of their contract, but I've never been asked, like, hey, can you include me on that? Most people are just happy to do the work for the money. If I don't do any marketing.
Yes, Mohammed. Yes, you can. You don't have to do extra marketing if you don't want to. Amazon, if you do everything the way we teach, Amazon will actively promote your book and try to make it sell and try to help you sell it. But if you have a bad book or a bad topic and you don't follow the instructions that we teach you on how to position it and pick your topic and that kind of stuff, we can't help with that, and they can't help with that. But as long as you do everything the way that you should, Amazon will do its best up to and including buying paid traffic from Google to send to your book if you do everything right and if you follow the instructions. But if you want to make it better or want to do more, you can do extra marketing, but by all means, you do not have to.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I can't ask a question for someone that I can't even CSRFY.
It's just a bunch of gibberish.
Yeah, it's like, yeah. Put in your real name next time, and I will ask your question for sure. Julian says, hey, Colin, how are you? Ask your question again, Colin, and we'll be more than happy to answer it. Can you tell us a little bit about creating pictures you talked about at the start of the webinar? Julian, what is it specifically that you'd like to know?
Julian, if you're asking for something technical, I'll tell you, I have a, what was it? I think it's a Canon digital camera, about a couple years old. And it's not even a fancy one. It's just one of those ones you can put in your pocket. And I take a picture, and I take a picture, and I take a picture. Nothing, nothing fancy. I don't have an SLR or any one of those fancy cameras or anything like that.
Yeah, guys, they're getting so cheap now. I just bought a camera the other day. It's a Sony CyberShot. This thing shoots 1080p high definition video. It's got stereo audio, and it's got like 16 megapixels. And it was, I think, like $150. So, and that's with the little 8 gig memory card. So you can totally just get one of those and take photos. I'll give you, since I have a little bit of a professional photography background, go outside where it's natural light if you can. If you can't, just make sure that you have good lighting sources or a really good flash. Don't make it too complicated, though, for sure. Yes, Julian, they were photographs, not drawings.
Colin, no, I don't use SpyFu. That's just way too overboard for what's necessary. If you wanted to use SpyFu and you're really good at it, go for it. I mean, you can really narrow down some niche stuff and see what advertisers are spending the most on by using that for sure. But no, I don't use that.
Yeah, some of you guys are getting really wrapped around the axle. Well, do you use page breaks or section breaks? Guys, it's whatever format needs to be done to look good on the printed page. So I don't even worry about that stuff until I go to actually format the book, either for the Kindle or for CreateSpace. You know, on a picture book, if it's a step-by-step instruction, then maybe, and you can easily photograph each step, then my recommendation would be take a photograph of that step, have a little text description below, step 2, step 3, step whatever. Jim asked this question: is it advisable to put video links inside a Kindle book? Jim, that's going to depend on you really. What I would recommend instead, Jim, is that you send them all to a central location, whether it be your website or a website. That way you have the ability to lead capture, so that you can sell them more stuff or similar stuff, but also you can point people there. So let's say you have 15 different videos and you tell them to go to timandtannerrock.com, and then, hey, I get their email address because I know they're interested in whatever the topic is we're talking about, and then what happens is we go from there. Think of like Tim Ferriss with his 4-hour blog and stuff like that. that make sense? Okay, cool. All right, guys. Look,
you just got to make it unique.
Yeah, we got probably about 5 minutes left here. We'll be more than happy to answer any and all questions that we can. Yes, Nancy. If you have questions, we do have an email address, timandtanner@gmail.com. Be more than happy to answer questions for you. But I also want to say this: if it's inside the training, we'll definitely tell you, hey, go check it out. At this part of the book, it's not something where we're going to just spoon feed you the information that's included in the actual package for sure.
Okay, Chris, wait, hang on. I'm looking at your question right now. Okay, yeah, Chris, when you want to change your book, like you want to edit it or add to it or whatever, do a revision, all you have to do is re-upload a new file, and it will replace your old file, and all new books that are printed or sold will have that new file updated. It'll get rid of the old one. So it's really just as simple as uploading a new file and saving it. Rob, no, Amazon does not offer any kind of email capture for you. So if you want to do a lead generation type deal, you're going to have to do that in the back pages of your book, like I showed you guys earlier.
Yeah, if you guys ever get a book by like Dan Kennedy or something like that, every chapter he's like, hey, get this, go here, get this, go here, go there, and it's all designed to lead capture. It's really, really smart to do, and it gets people who are interested in that topic and are actually reading your book on your email list or reading your blog. Gene has a good question. Do you recommend having an editor review before publishing? If so, how would I get one? What can I expect to pay? Well, Gene, it's going to depend on what it is that you're, obviously if it's a scientific text, it's going to be something a little different than if you're just having, love letters to mom type thing. So one place I would tell you to look for is Fiverr.com. That's where I hired my last editor. But there's also, if you just type in freelance book editor into Google, they'll pop up and you'll be able to kind of check them out, talk with them, interview them, and go from there. Chris, it's your book, man. You can add as many books, as many links as you want.
Colin, you need to watch the webinar again, dude. Half this training that we talked about today and what we talked about, what's in the offer, is all about CreateSpace. There's a lot of CreateSpace stuff in there.
Yeah. Derek says, can you post a video replay? Yes, we'll definitely get that for you. We'll definitely do it. Okay, guys, again, it's about 60 seconds left. We'll be answering one or two more questions, and we're going to get out of here. For those of you who are asking, yes, we will get the replay to James Jones so that he can get it in your hot little hands probably tomorrow, worst case Thursday, just to kind of let you guys know.
Colin, timandtanner.com/Amazon. You can have it right now. You don't have to wait till tonight. Jim, when you write a book, when you write any kind of content, it is automatically copyrighted automatically. You don't have to go file for a specific copyright or do anything like that. And you'll be assigned an ISBN number the second you publish your book on Amazon, and you don't have to buy one of those either.
Yep. You know what, Tina? You will be our last question. Now, Tanner, we've never actually answered this question, and I think it's just because we've been ducking it for so long. So tonight, I want to have a definite answer from you and I on what is the perfect number of pages for a Kindle book. So I don't want to tell them. Well, tell them what we normally tell them, and then let's tell them the real answer. Let's do that.
Well, okay, now you know what? We're going to give them the real answer first, and then we'll tell them the normal stuff.
Okay. All right. I guess.
Okay. You ready, Tina? Here you go. 3.5.
Oh, dude, I was going to go for 5. Damn it. All right. Okay.
3.5 pages. That's all you need.
That's it. That's all you guys need in a book. 3.5 pages. You've heard it first from Tim Castleman and Tanner Larson. Now, here's the real thing.
Yeah, we're being facetious. We're joking around because that is really a question that cannot be answered. It depends on the book. It depends on the topic. There is no set number of pages, okay, for any book. I mean, you obviously need enough content in there to make it worth selling, but the actual number of pages, that's going to be determined by the book size. If you have a small book versus a bigger book, like in terms of trim size, the page number is going to get all different. But on top of that, if you're writing to a specific page length, then you're not writing the book the way it needs to be written. You should be writing until every topic is done. Yes, Colin, we do. Okay, you need to write till every topic is finished and covered, and then you're done. Okay? Now, if you need a hard number, if you were going to go to a regular book publisher, like Random House or Bantam Spectra or any one of the other big publishers, okay? They would say 25,000 words.
Wait. Hold on just 1 second. Did you just sneeze and then continue to answer the question, or is there somebody in the room with you?
Oh, no, I sneezed.
Oh, okay. I was like, holy crap. I was like, did anybody else hear that? Because I'm pretty sure I heard that.
No,
That's
I was
good.
choking on, or it tickled in my throat.
Nice.
But yes, 25,000 words. If you absolutely must have a number to shoot for, which I think is wrong, 25,000 words is the minimum that a real publishing company would touch. Now, do I have books for sale that are less than 25,000 words? Absolutely. I have books that are a lot less than that. But that's the industry standard, the industry average. There you go.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I just bought a book, and it's actually the #1 self-help book right now on Amazon, thanks to Tim Ferriss. It's 30 pages long, and it's $1. And it's like the #1 across the board. So again, guys, what I will tell you is something that always sticks with my mind, and it is this, right? The length of your book should just be like a woman's skirt, right? Long enough to cover the essentials, short enough to keep it interesting. The worst mistake you could ever do is be boring and have a book that could be summed up in, say, 50, 125 pages, right? And have a 400-page tome. Nobody wants to read War and Peace unless they need to read War and Peace. All right? So with that, I recommend you guys go to timandtanner.com/Amazon, timandtanner.com/Amazon. We will get the replay out to you guys first thing tomorrow, and we appreciate all your guys' time and attention. Thanks so much for hanging with us. I hope for everyone who's celebrating, you have a happy and safe 4th of July. For those of you who are not celebrating, I hope you enjoy your day at work.